Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today I am discussing an article/topic that has come up many times over the course of this current generation, as well as mostly this past week, talking about how the Xbox Series S is holding back the generation. It's something that I even said back before the Xbox Series S and the Series X came out. However, I don't know, my opinion has changed a bit. Of course, please do like the video, it really does help, and subscribe for more content. So, like I said, my opinion on the matter has changed because I decided to use my mind brain and think about the situation for a moment. How does the Xbox Series S really hold back the generation when, currently, let's look at a few things that are just a fact. Fact number one. Most games are also on the Xbox One and the PS4, so the Series S isn't really holding anything back right now. Yeah, there's some games that are only on the Series X and PS5 and Xbox Series S, but I would argue that the Series S is powerful enough that you can just optimize the game to work for that system. Just downgrade the frame rate, downgrade the graphics. People will understand they're not going to get the same experience on the Series S as the Series X. Now, I also want to address, before I dive into more reasons and ways that you could make the Series S work, who is saying this? Who is really sparking this right now? Who is driving this debate? And that is the developer of Gotham Knights. They couldn't even hit 60 frames per second on the current gen systems, which means they don't know how to optimize, because there is zero reason with the graphics we've seen in this game and the gameplay that they have and all the particle effects and everything else that they could not hit 60 frames per second. That is absurd to me. I don't understand what happened in that development, because it's not the Series S's fault that you didn't even hit 60 frames per second on the Series X and PS5. That's just insane to me. If we have Forza Horizon 5 looking the way it does, running at 60 frames per second on the Series X, and the ability to be optimized and do like a performance mode over in the Series S to be also 60 frames per second, or be at a lower frame rate with higher fidelity graphics. Do you hear all these different options I'm throwing out there? These are called optimizations. These are called graphics settings. The reason that PC games can be on such a wide spectrum of PCs that are very old to the very new is because there are different graphical settings that allow people to tweak the experience and tailor it towards the system they have. The PC's been around since the beginning, so you think people would understand that you can do the same sort of thing for console games. In fact, like I just said, console games have started to do that. So I really don't get the whole spiel and the whole made-up concern for the Series S when it is a very powerful console, and we've already seen games optimized for the Series S and the Series X. And the fact that it's this developer that's complaining about it is really strange. And then another developer is also complaining about it, and they made a game called I Am Fish and Surgeon Simulator, and look at those games' graphics, and then they also came out for the Xbox One. So again, it doesn't make any sense to me, this argument that is coming out about how the Xbox Series S is going to bring back the entire generation. I don't see that. Especially because, okay, now people are going to argue, now PCs are different from consoles, there's different architecture. You're right, you're 100% right. Well, guess what? The Series X and the Series S have very similar architecture. A lot of people are complaining about the RAM, but guess what? The memory is not even close to the same issue that developers had with the PlayStation 3 and their weird-ass cell architecture that did have some games run like crap. That was a thing that happened. Medal of Honor Airborne is just barely functional in the PlayStation 3, but on the 360 it runs just fine. That's because they had weird architecture on that system, and that's been a thing every single time. These consoles all have different types of architecture that the developers have to deal with. So complaining that the Series S, which is just a less powerful Series X, is somehow holding back an entire generation when they've already been dealing with all these different limitations on the PC and previous console generations, doesn't make sense. I'm baffled that it's still even an argument, because I was wrong about the Series S. I made a whole video about how wrong I was and how much fun and how much I enjoy that system. And the fact that the Series S has outsold the Series X means that developers complaining about reaching a wider audience doesn't make any sense. They're asking to drop the requirement to a massive chunk of their audience. I don't understand the mindset behind that when a lot of these developers are already releasing these games on previous gen consoles. You're already releasing it on PS4 and Xbox One, and yet you're complaining about the Series S. Maybe they're looking forward to the future. They're looking towards when it's not going to be on the Xbox One and PS4 anymore. But I mean, look at how great Horizon looks on the PlayStation 5, and yet it's also on the PlayStation 4. So that's a game that just made it work. How come you can't? What's going on there? I don't understand why now developers are bringing this argument back up again when it seems like it's already been debunked. But that's just my opinion. That's my take on this whole matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Maybe you know better than I do. I would love to hear your input because I'd like to learn more about what's going on. But from all the things that I've read online, it just seems like these are developers that just don't want to optimize for these lower end systems, and they just want to focus on those graphics. They just want to focus on getting that game out there, when really they need to take the time to optimize it for the majority of their audience. Of course, do please like the video. I really appreciate that, and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you, everybody.